All right, everyone. Welcome to Shall We Football. On this podcast, we talk about football and only football. So help us. I'm Ryan. I'm joined by Colt, our fantasy football oracle, AJ, our numbers and stats guy, and Jeff, our resident Patriots hater, Raiders fan, and lover of all things Jacksonville Jaguars. Gentlemen, shall we football?
Yeah, I'm down.
Let's do it.
Sure.
Enthusiastic as always. Going into week 8, but first we have to look back on week 7. Gentlemen, one of our biggest surprises of this week before we go to the gallows. Jeff.
I have to think. Go to somebody else.
AJ. Moving along.
Ooh. Wow. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I got Borat on the brain. I'd say the Bills eking by the
Eking is an excellent crossword word.
I don't crossword. I Sudoku. But eking by the
That's
Jets
why you're a
by
numbers
8
guy.
points. There's no math. There's no math in Sudoku. There's just zero math.
But as we were talking about a little bit earlier, off the record, Josh Allen still had decent numbers, and they still only scored 18 points.
Did anyone watch that game and see what the heck was going on in the red zone for them? I don't know if we got it here.
I did not get a
I didn't
chance to
see much
what
of
was
it
going
either.
on. I think national television decided to boycott that game because the Jets.
Yeah.
Say no more.
Real quick on this. So Zach Moss gave them 47 yards. Devin Singletary gave him 29. Isaiah McKenzie lost them 11. And they had 126 total. 61 of those belonged to Josh Allen. So they had, give or take, about 60-ish yards rushing. That's abysmal.
Are we talking about a resurgence in the Jets' run defense?
I believe.
I don't think that was the case.
I can't keep a straight face.
I don't think that's right.
Nor can I.
That's a good surprise. I like that. Colt, what was your biggest surprise?
The Lions pulling out that win against the Falcons last second. Matty snapback, clutch throw to old Hawkinson, Hawkstrap for the win. I couldn't believe it.
Oh, Hawkstrap. I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll catch on.
Let's get that on the Twitter.
It very well may.
Let's get that.
Yeah, I mean, it was so Gurley rushing, not going down, effectively lost the game for them. I love that beautiful bomb to Galladay to set him up, and they reviewed it. It was a lot of intrigue with the final seconds of that game. It took about 10 minutes to play out on TV. It was a nail biter.
This is a very pro Matthew Stafford podcast here.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna vote for him.
Yeah, write him
As will I.
Yeah, he
maybe
had
not for president.
340
yeah.
with 108.6 rating, 25 of 36, and 8 rushing yards. If you're wondering.
Ooh, bonus.
And that is 8 yards per carry.
He has been mired in Detroit his entire career, and people just forget he's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The touchdowns really haven't been there for him this year, but he's still playing well.
He was supported by 29 rushing yards from Adrian Peterson on 11 carries and 27 rushing yards from DeAndre Swift on 9 carries, averaging respectively 2.6 and 3.
All day, AP. All day getting you 29 rushing yards. Jeff, you seceded your top spot as your most surprising pick, so I'm going to take the third spot and put you at the back of the line. My most surprising game of this past week, I got distracted in my ramblings there for a second, was actually one that I picked correctly. The football team over the Cowboys. Washington pummeling the Dallas Cowboys. I talked myself into that pick last week just because I've become a big Logan Thomas guy.
inexplicable.
I know. But I didn't expect the Cowboys to absolutely no show. I thought that offense had enough weapons all over the field. It didn't matter if Andy Dalton or Scaramucci was throwing the football to them. They should be able to score more than 3 points in a game. And that was just an abysmal performance by Dallas. And now they're selling the house at the trading deadline.
Yep.
And cutting fat people too.
And cutting fat people. We don't fat shame on this
No,
podcast.
we don't, but the Dallas Cowboys do.
Yeah, Jerry Jones is a fat shamer. I'm going to put that out there.
Yeah. That is not a hot take. That is
Tari Poe puts on 20 pounds to balloon up to a slim 370, and Jerry Jones says, "Get out of here."
Not in my house.
He wore it well, too.
He did. Yeah. That was a good-looking 370.
It
Jeff,
was.
back to you. Back to you for your most surprising result of Week 7.
They've literally both covered the two that I was thinking about was the Falcons and the Lions. The Lions coming back at the end and beating the Falcons, and then just the Jets actually holding somebody off to only score 6 field goals.
I have a bit of a rebuttal to both of you that said the Falcons losing to the Lions. When is it going to stop being surprising when they blow late leads and lose by 1 or 2? I'm no longer surprised by that
fair.
at all. That is not surprising to me.
I was more so surprised the fact that Stafford led that drive down the field with as little time as he had left and won the game, more so than I was surprised at the Falcons choking and losing another late game.
But Stafford's done it with a separated shoulder before. He can do it against the Falcons.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I got one. How about the Panthers ending the third quarter tied in New Orleans?
Yeah,
I'm not necessarily surprised by that.
I'm not either. AJ, you called that as a handily won game by the Saints. Were you getting nervous?
I just don't know if there's any evidence to support that.
I believe it's on the tape. We have that on tape.
Yeah.
Who has that tape?
He said it's the Saints and not even close.
Yeah. Jeff and I were talking about that game before kickoff on Sunday, and I said the line is 7.5, and the Panthers are going to cover that line. And that's going to happen. They're not going to outright win, but they're going to cover 7.5. It's going to be closer than you think.
So with that being said, we've got a team that we thought was like consensus top 4.
Yeah.
Prior to the season.
Not anymore.
No, not anymore. I want to look here at what PFF, Pro Football Focus. I know we don't cite, but
Chris Collinsworth.
I don't. That citation doesn't mean anything to me. So let's look here. Let's see what their defense is doing, because the offense looks good. The offensive line, as everyone expects, looks solid.
It looks fine.
Ryan Ramczak's doing what Ryan Ramczyk does. Teron Armstead, blah blah blah. The running backs look great. The wide receivers even look fantastic.
Minus Michael Thomas, and the Saints have a Michael Thomas problem.
Yeah,
Michael Thomas has a Michael Thomas problem. It looks like this defense is essentially Cam Jordan and then some Jags, just another guys.
I didn't know the Jaguars moved to New Orleans. Please delete that. That was really poor.
Apparently,
I'll edit that out. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Apparently, the Gilmores moved to New Orleans, though.
The Gulf Coast is a rough place to live now.
You never know when an oil tanker is just gonna just pop right over on its side.
Yeah, you can go down there and win you some football games, and then the Hurricane's gonna win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the defense is not what we thought here. Janoris Jenkins has decent numbers. Daniel Onyemata, the interior defensive lineman, looks pretty good. Marcus Davenport has been hurt but he played well in the 44 snaps that he had, give or take 44 snaps. So the rest of that defense, the linebackers, the safety play, Marcus Williams, who had a fantastic year last year, is 40th out of 85. Malcolm Jenkins is 72nd out of 85. Marshawn Lattimore, 93rd out of 118 qualifying cornerbacks.
Wow.
Not great.
No.
Can we talk about what may go down at the end of the season as the best game of the season? That was a Sunday night game, Cardinals Seahawks. What a great football game that was.
Jeff, get in on it.
Jeff went to sleep.
3,
What?
2, 1.
Sorry.
There he is.
I zoned out. I apologize.
He's back.
I'm sorry, I don't feel good. So you were saying?
I think Kyler Murray is a more athletic and faster Russell Wilson. They're the same player.
They are. Nice comp.
And Kyler Murray got the best of Russell Wilson.
You know, Russell Wilson's been good at every level for a pretty long time. I don't recognize this Russell Wilson.
The one that's still good?
The one that is a new level of
good.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, he did throw 3 picks.
I'll take it. He's still my MVP front runner.
It's still
Yeah,
my
And
MVP.
against a Cardinals defense that we've gone over in previous weeks is extremely underrated.
Yes.
Yeah, they're pretty stingy. He didn't even throw to Metcalf nearly at all the entire game with the Patrick Peterson effect.
Patrick Peterson is a great football player.
Yeah, but Tyler Lockett lit him up, dude.
He did. Those beautiful.
Yeah, well, there's been a
moon
perennial
balls.
issue on the other side of Patrick Peterson. They have not been able to get a cornerback to take pressure off of him in years.
You know, the last one I can remember is Antonio Rogers Cromartie.
Yeah, that's right. As if you needed validation. Moving on.
Yes.
You gotta give
Jeff, you made words.
You got to give Seattle's defense a little credit, though. They played better football that night than they played in pretty much any of the games they've played so far. They did a really good job for a while, but you could see where weaknesses were, like I was saying earlier.
Yeah, that
Kyler
hurry up
Murray's
offense is going
relentless,
to be.
man.
I love Kyler Murray. Hurry up offense is going to be tough to
Yes,
stop. It's going to be tough to stop. And DeAndre Hopkins had a big game. Murray had a big game. Cliff Kingsbury, that was a big win for him as a head coach to get that Cardinal team to what, 5-2 now? They're sitting in a really good spot in the toughest division in football.
Yeah, shout out to the NFC West.
Outside of the NFC East. The NFC East is murderer's row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we've gone through our most surprising results of the week. What were our results like on the scoreboard to our stats guy?
Well, so as is tradition, Colt, you sucked the least. You were 11-3.
Nice.
You missed the Falcons as did all of us.
Mm-hmm.
You missed the Bengals, as did 2 of us, additionally, and you missed on
the Packers.
Yeah.
That was my total against the grain. That was the one I felt like I would regret the most, and yeah.
So behind him is me and old Uncle Hefe over there. Jeff, we're going to talk about the Raiders, buddy. We'll get there.
And
Ryan,
I suck the most?
You suck the most. Congratulations.
Good.
9-5, so not way behind us.
As far as like
being the best to the worst.
Well, I was about to say, I was just letting you guys catch up this week since, I was kind of running away with picks this year so far.
You'll see. So,
Yeah.
fellas, it is time to atone for our sins.
Lord of mercy.
Are we ready?
No, but yes.
Give it to us.
All right. I'm going to take a more empathetic approach this week. Jeff, is there something going on in your life that caused you to pick the Raiders?
I don't want to hear it. We were 20-24 with 7 minutes and some change left in the fourth quarter, and it just got away from us. We were still in that game for a long time.
You can tell me if there's anything going on. This seems like a cry. This seems like a cry for help. Is all
I just said what I needed to say.
It's a safe place, Jeff.
We're in the trust tree.
Welcome to the trust tree and killed it because I just gave one.
Oh boy, Ryan,
Yes, sir.
you're a really great guy.
Thanks.
Any human or whatever you're into would be very lucky to have you. But I would like to
Aren't
talk to
you
you about.
sweet?
I would like to talk to you about the Bears.
Oh, I thought you were going to go a different route,
No,
but I'm glad
No.
you went this route. That
the,
shows
the,
growth.
the Titans are a good football team.
Agreed.
Well, is
I
there
have
any?
no-
Yeah, what's going on in your life that made you do this? Again, this is
There's a lot of pain. I don't trust anything. I trust nothing anymore, and I blame explosive diarrhea for that. I've trusted too much, and it has cost me too many loads of laundry. And I have to do another load of laundry after that game on Monday night. The Bears stink. They absolutely stink. I saw something today, and it was right. An NFL expert, legitimate NFL expert, said that if the game's played in the 20s, the Bears might as well just pack it up and go home. They can't score 20 points. Matt Nagy is touted as an offensive genius, just like Dan Quinn was touted as a defensive genius in Atlanta. Both should be jobless, not just one of them.
jobless, homeless.
Yes. Take their families from them.
Strong words. I feel your pain.
I have no excuse for that game, and I'm sorry. I apologize to the podcast.
Accepted.
This is the
Thank
trust
you.
tree, apparently. Colt, I want to talk to you about self-confidence. You picked the Houston Texans, and I feel like you were pressured into doing so by your peers. Is there anyone who is, I don't know, pressuring you in your life to do things you really don't want to do?
I think
what happened with the Texans?
I think there is a little bit of peer pressure going on in certain aspects of my life, and it led to a little poor decision making. I really wanted to trust that Deshaun Watson and the Texans offense. I really like what I saw the week before in a barn burner, losing at the last minute to Tennessee in overtime. I thought, you know what? He can hang with Rodgers. That offense can hang. Bill O'Brien must have snuck back in and started calling plays or something. They did not look good. That's what I was thinking in the game. Who let Bill O'Brien? Who gave him his job back?
I just imagine Bill O'Brien sneaking in, dressed up like Bill Belichick with his cutoff hoodie,
Right.
lurking around in the concourse.
I had a similar vision on Sunday, Ryan. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Sorry, guys. That was a gross pick going against a pissed off Aaron Rodgers, and Green Bay asserted their will.
Oh, do not take all of the blame for this. You were not the only one that picked
I
that
had a
game.
cohort.
You had two cohorts.
Yeah, well, that's not my most egregious sin, so we'll get there. All right, Colt, 10 Hail Marys, 5 Our Fathers, and you'll be okay.
Done.
I had a fantastic idea and then stood on, I'm going to be kind to myself. The Patriots have been the best team in the NFL for a very long time. Bill Belichick is a wizard from Lord of the Rings. And I guess it was nostalgia. And maybe my roommate, who claims to be from Boston, but he's really from Florida. That's an inside joke. That's not going to play. Anyway, I picked the Patriots, and I do solemnly swear to never do. You know what? I said that last week.
Told you not to.
I'll make a living amends here.
Okay.
I will live the spirit of intelligent picking.
You'll just be better.
Yeah, do better, man.
I think that's a great idea, boys.
We don't try on this podcast. We just do.
We do. That's
Don't
it.
pick
Man.
cheaters.
Yeah.
There he is.
That's
There's
also
the hater.
frowned
There
upon.
he is.
That's why Stephon Gilmore left.
There he is.
I love it.
Yep.
All right, gentlemen.
That wraps it up. Yeah. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, we're going to wrap up week 7, move on to week 8. And we went in, chronological order last week on the scoreboard. Started on Thursday night. Let's go backwards. Let's start on Monday
I like
night.
it.
Yeah, that sounds
maybe
great. Just you're not taking the picks down. It'll be fine.
Cool. We're going to go backwards. Buccaneers and Giants on Monday night. This could be the biggest laugher of the week in my book. Who goes first? We're gonna figure this out as we go along, like a lottery pick. I picked Colt.
I'm taking the Bucks all day. Defense is amazing. Like, you cannot run on the Buccaneers, as even Josh Jacobs, great player, Gruden, wanted to just kept smashing it in there to the line, but eventually he's like, well, yeah, I can't do this. The pressure they get with 4, Daniel Jones is going to be under fire all game. And they might play him soft in the fourth quarter, a little garbage time, but Bucks handily.
The line on this is 10.5. I don't think we have to spend a whole lot of time.
Yeah,
AJ.
Bucks. I just thought
Jeff.
I thought I'd preempt that one.
Yep, Jeff.
Bucks.
Bucks for me as well. We're going to go clean sweep on that. Colt, thank you for your expert analysis. Philadelphia and Cowboys. Generally, a clash of titans. One of the great rivalries in the NFL. This game, the Eagles are an 8-point favorite on Sunday night. Who we got? Colt.
Eagles.
We don't have to go fast on this one.
Okay. Well, looking at the further imploding Cowboys from last week, Dalton's still in the concussion protocol. Zeke is not playing well either. The O-line injuries are just really getting to that team. I think Philly has a better D-line. They have a better offense, not better skill position players offensively, but Carson Wentz, I mean, he's still getting it done. It's not always pretty. I think the Eagles are an easy pick here.
AJ?
I think this is beating a dead horse, but that once talent-laden Dallas Cowboys roster and depth chart is just decimated.
Yep.
Up the middle on defense. What a nightmare. Although Leighton Vander Esch is back, Alden Smith started out well. Now there are Jalen Smith trade talks, apparently. But that offensive line is gone. I think this is easy. I don't like to do it for the Eagles.
Are you laying points too?
Sure.
8. Laying 8. Eagles laying 8. I'm also going to pick the Eagles. I just think that is a more complete football team, and that's sad to say because the Eagles are hot garbage as well. NFC East is going to be fun to watch all season long. I really in my soul, I hope we get like a 5-win NFC East playoff team.
Delicious.
That's very much on the table.
Yes, that would make me feel really good, and I don't know why. Jeff, your pick.
I'm going with Eagles. Both teams are are trash, but Eagles.
Eagles all around. Well, a pretty good game in the afternoon slot on Sunday. We're looking at 49ers and Seahawks, another battle of NFC West. Very good football teams. Start with AJ.
So initially, my thought was just go with the Seahawks. Don't overthink this one. I'm going to overthink it. I guess that would be my job here.
You could argue.
I believe that would be my job here. So the vaunted 49ers defense giving up 19.4 points per game, putting them fifth. And let's see what they're doing pressuring a quarterback here. Sack rate. I love that one.
Mm-hmm.
10. Nick Bosa, status.
Out.
Yeah, he's out all year.
Torn ACL.
How sad. So, also, Zeke Ansah is playing for them.
Yes,
Really?
I did know that.
Yeah. They've also lost Solomon Thomas and D Ford. Obviously, Richard Sherman is out. They've lost Kawan Williams. That team is doing a lot, missing a lot. And I don't know what's going on in that running back room. I think those guys get into like a playful fight after every game, or there's just some sort of hierarchy type battle going on. Whatever it is, they seem to be losing running backs left and right. I think this is just all Russell Wilson. I'm going to go best quarterback on the field.
I don't hate that pick. Jeff, your thoughts?
Seattle. New York, not New York. San Fran's been able to do some good things the last few games, but it's Russell Wilson, and that offense is clicking hardcore. I think I'm going with Russell all day.
Colt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm a little on the fence on this one too, but I'm looking at injuries. I'm looking at the Seahawks offense. I'm still not sure if Jamal Adams is going to play, but I mean, like Jeff mentioned, Seattle, they did their best for a while in that game, but they couldn't hang. However, I don't think the 49ers offense is going to be a juggernaut this week per se. I mean, Deebo Samuel's out. They're going to be focusing a lot on getting Kittle the ball. I'm sure he's going to have a day, but I do think that there are still a lot of good players on defense, and they're doing a lot with a lot less than they had, which is very admirable. I just think Russ is going to come out firing, and like you said, battle. Looking at the quarterbacks, I don't think Jimmy G can hang. I don't think he can put up the points. Now the run game will likely be popping as always. Just plug in the next guy in Shanahan's system. He's a great offensive mind, but I think Seattle's got this one.
If there was a player tailor-made, built in a lab to stop George Kittle, it's Jamal Adams.
Agreed.
Yep.
How about Bobby Wagner? Maybe not. Maybe not down the field, but intermediate. He puts up a better fight than maybe any other linebacker in the NFL.
Yeah, he's a very good player. I still think George Kittle gets his. Seahawks are favored by 3 in this football game. I'm going to take the Seahawks and those points. I do think that offense is going to be too much for San Francisco to keep up with. I don't think they're going to absolutely steamroll the 49ers, but I do think they win by more than 3. And I just don't think the 49ers offense is going to be able to keep up in that
Agreed.
Sunday afternoon game. Next game on the slate, on the docket. I'm not going to do it again. I'm going to go first on this one. Saints and Bears in Chicago. I'm picking the Saints because the game's going to be at least 20 points per team, and the Bears can't get to 20 points. So I'm picking the Saints. Colt.
I'm going the Saints too. just like you mentioned, Ryan, the Bears, they are just a hapless offense right now. Montgomery is not playing well. They have very little semblance of a run game. Allen Robinson, there's a fair chance he misses this game in the concussion protocol as well. There's a fair chance Mike Thomas misses the game on the other side of the ball. New Orleans is a better team all around, better offense. Breeze, not the best on the road, especially at Soldier Field in his career. But I'll take the Saints get it done by at least a touchdown.
Yeah. Jeff?
Saints all day. Drew Brees.
Succinct. AJ?
Ryan, I think you're. I don't know if there's any other analysis to be said. I think the Saints score over 20, and there's don't swim in those waters. So Saints.
Let's go to Jeff's division, but not quite Jeff's team. Chargers and Broncos, afternoon game in Denver. Could be snowing there. Chargers, Broncos. Jeff, who you got?
Justin Herbert looks really good, and so does that offense. Their offense is clicking really well. Defense could use a little more oomph in it, but I think the Chargers are going to come out on top on a garbage Broncos team.
AJ?
So the Broncos defense is, let's see here, reading. So they're actually middling in points for all the credit that they've received over the years. However, their sack percentage is 7th, putting them in line with the Los Angeles Aaron Donalds and the Baltimore Yannick Ngakwe's and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not quite the Steelers, but that being said, still going Chargers. Offense wins championships. Nick Saban said it.
That seems like an accurate statement that Nick Saban would say. Colt?
I'm going Chargers here too. I think the game is going to be a little lower scoring. The over-under is not too prolific. I believe it was like 45.5. Herbert's playing amazing. They have a pretty good defense when everyone's healthy. I'm looking to see if Melvin Ingram, because I know he walked away from that game a little dinged up, but he did walk away. Melvin Ingram is questionable. So, anyways, Denver's defense, yeah, they got some players. I watched a lot of that game, and Drew Lock and that offense just looked terrible. Like, it was getting painful to watch. So I really think that the Chargers offense is many, many miles ahead better than the Broncos, and they have a good enough defense. They'll keep things in check.
I've got to agree with you on that. I'm not trying to disparage the Broncos defense. It's actually pretty good. But their offense is not good. And the Chargers will score points. They win the point line against the spread basically every week because people just count them out and they score more points than you think. They don't win a lot of football games outright, but they are 5-1 against the spread this year.
Wow.
So their defense, Ryan, is actually, despite losing Chris Harris, Derwin James, and Drew Tranquil, having Melvin Ingram banged up a little bit, same with starting safety Rashawn Jenkins, they are middling in most categories.
Wow.
Despite their annual pilgrimage to the injury reserve list, they are actually playing sound, pretty decent defense.
You see them at 2-4, and you don't think that defense is any good, and then you realize, well, yeah, I mean, they've been hurt a lot, and their offense can't score points.
Yards per play, sack percentage, points given up, all pretty middling. If not skewing a little towards the top.
Yeah, I do think the Chargers outscore though. They will outscore the Broncos. So I'm going to say Chargers in this one, and I will also lay the points. I'll take Chargers -3 for sure.
Nobody's keeping track of that, Ryan.
I know. I am in my brain. The next game could be
Still
game of the
sounds
week
good.
potential. It does, doesn't it? Game of the week potential in this one. Steelers Ravens.
Let's
We're gonna
go.
start-
Oh yeah.
yes.
Oh yeah.
This one's always brutal. One team's purple, one team's black and gold. They both come out blue with bruises after it's all over. AJ, this is your division, your team. Talk to me.
I don't want to make the same mistake again and pick against them, but you know what? Before I say something, let's get some numbers to back
Okay.
this up.
Okay.
He's going to do it.
So
Analyze
do
and
it.
overanalyze.
These are two teams that allow per drive the first for the Ravens and third least scores. The Ravens allow scores on 26.5% of drives. For reference, the Jaguars allow them on 54.7%. The Steelers allow them at a clip of 28.8%. Then if you go to my favorite stat, as you boys know, the sack percentage.
Pressures.
Steelers, 11.4%. The Ravens, 8.7%, putting them fifth. Point is, both great defenses, also around the same in points
I'm
per
shocked
game.
by that with these two teams.
The Black and Blue Bowl. So we then go to the offenses, and I'm not even going to look at statistics here. I'm going to say that, Ryan, you noted this either the week before, or I think 2 weeks before, that Lamar Jackson may have been figured out somewhat.
A little bit.
Now,
yes.
tape on him a little bit. He is not threatening the MVP race for the most part.
Nope.
Like he ran away with last year. My only
And we're at the
concern
midpoint
is
in the season now. We're in the
We are.
midpoint in the season. And now we can start thinking MVP stuff.
well, we've all been thinking Russell Wilson. I was
We
gonna
can
say
do it
since he
out
stepped
loud.
on the field. Yeah. Now we can shout it from the tops of our apartments.
Yes.
So all that being said, I am concerned with the turnover machine and big play machine and, part tree, part human that is Ben Roethlisberger. Oh, I can't do it. I got to go Steelers. I can't do it. I can't make the same mistake again. Let's go.
Good for you. Jeffrey.
This one's legitimately maybe the toughest game I've picked so far.
I
Yeah,
agree.
This was really tough.
He's digging deep.
I'm going Baltimore.
Oh, I like it.
Spiteful.
I'm going to say this. I have to say this. Watching them play how they played against the Tennessee Titans makes me wary and concerned that they can't do it. They're going to lose, and I think Baltimore is going to be the one that they lose to.
They're bound to lose eventually. And this is a very good football team they're going up against.
They almost
pick,
lost.
Jeffrey.
They almost lost this past Sunday. It's quite possible that this is the Sunday, and I'm going with the Ravens.
I like the pick. I like the
Thank you.
pick. Colt, your thoughts?
Yeah, I love that Ravens pick. This is a really tough one. Maybe one of the toughest to pick all year outright. I'm looking at the injury report. Jimmy Smith, Marlon Humphrey, both starting corners are questionable. Safety Anthony Levine Sr. Mark Ingram is also questionable, which, he's the way they're utilizing the backs, it's like one of them doesn't make too big of a difference to me. I'm a little concerned, too, with Ben throwing 3 picks in Tennessee.
One of them egregious.
Yeah, absolutely egregious, as we touched on before this show. I like Pittsburgh's offense better than Baltimore's, and I do think teams have kind of figured out Lamar Jackson. His deep ball passing this year has been atrocious. That was another big step in his game last year, and it seems kind of like a step backwards he's taken this year. Hey, they did sign Des Bryant to the practice squad. I mean, that
Yes.
might turn the
Yes.
tide. I don't know.
I changed my pick.
Ryan, didn't you say, Ryan, that he was racing?
Out there in Stillwater, racing Bullet, the mascot, live horse.
Nice. Okay.
The girl that rides that horse went to F.J. Wright's High School in Evansville, Indiana.
Get out of town.
That's a true story.
I like it, but not enough to side with the Ravens for that fun stat alone. I'm gonna go Steelers by a field goal. I think they get it done. It's gonna be a bloodbath. This much we know, but
I'm so excited. You know what? I think this might actually be the week that we see the Steelers miss Devin Bush.
I'm
sorry, Devin Bush.
Yeah, I think you may be right. I'm a Steelers hater at heart.
I feel AJ's eye roll.
I know. But I think the Steelers have enough offense to win this football game. And I have not been impressed by the offensive output Baltimore has shown so far this season.
Right.
I think the Steelers can score on that Ravens defense. I think the Ravens are going to score plenty, but I think the Steelers will score just a little bit more. And the last I checked, the team that scores the most points in a football game will generally win that football game.
Ryan, let me look that up real quick.
Yeah. Fact check that, please. Vet it.
Check me, please. But I think the Steelers win based on the sole fact that they may score more points.
Wikipedia just called me stupid.
What?
Oh no! Was it like that little game at Cracker Barrel?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but a lot of people do call me stupid.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I just don't surround myself with great people.
Here's one we can touch on: the triumphant return to football of Tua Tagovailoa.
Are you sure that's right?
Yes, it is.
It's a lot of T's, a lot of consonants.
Can we consult Evan, the other oracle, the pronunciation oracle?
Yes, I don't know what he's doing, but I'm not going in that room.
From what I've heard, there's apparently an N that's supposed to be pronounced in there.
It is Tungo Vailoa.
Okay.
Tungo Vailoa.
That's beautiful.
It's gonna go Tungo Vailoa against Jared Goff in the fight in LA Rams.
King Goffrey.
All right, I'm actually going to take this one first, Ryan. I watched some of that Rams game. I got to tell you, I was super impressed with Jared Goff. Super impressed, man. There was a couple throws, couple slants that he hit him in stride, hitting a tiny window through two defenders.
The Van Jefferson pass, I believe that was.
That was one of them. There was a couple that I was just wowed by his poise. There was a play action pass, a rollout that, it looked like he was going through 8 perfect attempts at it in practice, and this was just number 4, and it didn't get hard until number 6. He looked so smooth, and that's against a good Bears defense.
Yeah, he played a real clean game.
That's what I was about to say.
On the flip side, I go over this stupid stat every week, but the Dolphins' scoring percentage per drive on defense is less than the Steelers. 27.7% of scores, or 27.7% of drives end in scores, putting them second in the league. This is the NFL league, and they are 8th in sack percentage. I don't know where this defense is hiding. I again, this just goes back to I'm still upset that Ryan Fitzpatrick is no longer quarterbacking for them. They're giving up 18.8 points a game. That puts them 3rd in the NFL. The NFL, they're still like a NFL team.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need to fact check that.
we get distracted and confused because they're in a foreign country called Florida.
Florida. The 51st state.
Yes, the annexation of Florida.
So that being said, I think the separating factor here is the fact that it's Tua's first game starting, and Ryan Fitzpatrick, a seasoned vet, a very confident, athletic, seasoned vet.
He went to Harvard.
He did.
I don't know what.
That's
I
right.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say to that. He did go to Harvard. For those listening, if this is your first podcast with us, Ryan, he brings this up fairly often.
Yes, we will belabor the point.
Yep.
Yeah, I have to go Rams based entirely on the fact that it's not Ryan Fitzpatrick back there. That was very long-winded. Someone please take the mic.
Jeffrey?
I'm in agreement. It's not Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm going Rams all day.
Colt?
I'm going Rams by nose here too. Now they did just play on Monday night, and they travel cross country for a 1:00 game in the annexation of Florida. That's not ideal in my mind, but I mean they have the personnel on defense, primarily Ramsey and Donald. Rams defense looked really good the other night in the Monday night game, which I mean probably not that hard to against the hapless Bears offense. However, Tua's first game. I think that lends itself to the Rams defense. Goff did play a really clean game. I think it'll be a valiant effort by the rookie, but I'll take the Rams.
I did not know the Dolphins defense was that good. I just flat out didn't because I guess I'm just an overprivileged American that doesn't pay attention to foreign countries like Florida. I think I'm going to have to go with the Rams, but I'm kind of second guessing that now. And it's solely because it is to his first start. Jared Goff, as AJ said, can be very, very impressive, but he can also be very underwhelming.
Absolutely.
If he can keep it together for this game against a very good, apparently, defense with Miami, I think the Rams do pull this one out, and it's LA -3.5. I think they win by probably more than a field goal, but that's should be a pretty sneaky good game.
Also, some things to think about. Word is that Xavier Howard is on the trade block, and the Dolphins' strength out of that defense, from what I understand, is more based in the secondary as well.
Yeah.
Why do you sign Byron Jones for $1 bazillion and then trade away Xavier Howard?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense why they want to deal him.
Yeah, that duo is really good.
Yeah.
With a first-round pick, Noah Igbenogany. Sitting behind.
Yeah, well done.
I learned how to produce or pronounce Notre Dame recruits pretty early on.
That's another one we need to run by Evan once we get a chance.
Okay.
Good call.
He needs to be
Let's make that a recurring segment. We can tape it earlier in the week.
Okay.
This one we don't have to talk a lot about. Jets, Chiefs. Jeff?
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs.
AJ?
I'm just going to pencil everyone in.
Yep, that's fine. You can do it for all four of us, I think.
Yeah. One fun fact here, though. Adam Gase, he gave up play calling. He's to everyone's dismay and surprise, still has a job. Now, I heard that he relinquished offensive play calling the first half, and wouldn't you know, they put up 10 points, and then he must have taken them back over in the second half, because I don't even know if they got a first down in the second half.
Yeah,
10 points is too many.
They called him Chuckles the party chimp.
Yep.
To call the plays in the second half.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys know Chuckles.
Yeah, the Chuckles is blind. He makes a valiant effort at parties and bar mitzvahs. Next game, Vikings Packers, NFC North battle. It's really not so much a battle this year. Jeff,
Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
Yeah, can I just please pencil everyone in for the Packers here?
Please.
I'm still riding the Rodgers train. You can pencil that one in, yeah.
Yeah, please.
Colts and Lions. Interesting game, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
AJ, your thoughts?
Let's hit the board. Let's hit the stats board.
Colts coming off a bye.
Ooh, FYI, yards per play, the second behind the Seahawks is the Minnesota Vikings. If you can believe that, they average 6.3 yards a play, and the Seahawks average 6.6. Also, the Packers average 6.2, which is third. So, I think there's a few things canceling out, and then the Packers just significantly overwhelming the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes.
But to the topic at hand, the Lions, despite the fact that that offense is considered to be what's buoying the team, they're actually averaging 5.6 yards per play on offense. And they are 11th in scoring percentage. Again, that's scores over offensive drives, and scores meaning field goals and touchdowns. That rushing offense is not great, which is the total opposite of the Colts. I'm going to go. It pains me because we do have a policy of loving Matt Stafford, but I'm
very pro Matthew Stafford. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Colts it is.
Jeffrey?
Phillip Rivers and the Colt.
Phillip Rivers, Uncle Phil and his 9 kids, gunner at the
Oh,
helm.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes no
Colt,
sense,
your
Jeff.
thoughts on the Colts and the Lions?
I think this is going to be a pretty close, rather entertaining game. I do side with Matty Snapback. You know, I got to stick to the allegiance here. Like, you know, we got to stand. So someone has to take a stand for Matt Stafford here. He's not playing phenomenal by way of throwing touchdowns. I mean, the yards are there. Passer rating's been pretty good. The Colts are they've been phenomenal in defense this year. However, this is in Detroit. On the injury report at the moment, we're looking at Darius Leonard is questionable, their best linebacker for the Colts. Ryan Kelly, center, questionable. And not that it matters, but the giant of a man, Mo Alley Cox, he's also questionable. Did not practice today, so for whatever that's worth. I like the Lions in this one. I feel like they got a little momentum coming out of that game. And DeAndre Swift is getting a little more run. If only Patricia would turn the keys over to Swift a little more, I think their offense, because I just really think it would move much more efficiently with him. And I think that Patricia continues to run AP as in trusting the veteran because he doesn't want to get fired. But I think they need to see more of what they have in Swift. So, and then Galladay is he's balling. I like the Lions by a Prater 55-yarder.
I like that line as well. Matt Prater.
Yes.
The Lions have been spoiled with great kickers for as long as I can remember.
And the kickers have in turn been spoiled by the Detroit Lions.
That is also a fact. I'm going to go with the Lions as well because I too stand in solidarity with Matthew Stafford.
I like it.
I'm going to present a T-shirt idea to the podcast. It's just him holding a sign that says Stafford doesn't suck.
Okay.
On sale soon in the merch store.
It's not. We have no merch store, and we're gonna have to talk about that T-shirt.
We'll have a meeting after the podcast. I picked the Lions. I'm going Lions in this one. Indianapolis is favored by 3, but I think the Lions are enough, and the Colts offense has not shown me enough to prove to me that they can score points. An interesting game on paper and also in the minds and hearts of all of America, but especially Mr. Fernandez. Jeff, Raiders and Browns, I'll give you the honors.
I'm just gonna pick my boys.
The Oakland Raiders.
If it were
Las
up to
Vegas.
Jeff, they'd be 16-0.
No, absolutely not. There's games we'll lose.
But
Well,
not
if
this
it
one.
was up to you, they would be 6-0. If you got to pick what games they wanted.
No, I know we'll lose games. We'll never be a team that gets 16-0.
I don't think we're connecting here.
Jeff, I got a question for you. Offensively, outside of Waller and Jacobs, who do you see ascending? Are you buying Nelson Aguilar's production in this offense?
He scored a touchdown almost every single game, and I think Henry Ruggs is going to emerge even better.
Okay.
And hopefully we have Brian Edwards back. He's technically doubtful, but there's a possibility that Brian Edwards will be playing.
Yeah, what is going on with Brian Edwards?
He has an ankle injury.
Yep. He did practice. He got a limited session in today, though.
He did. And we're also down Richie Incognito still with an Achilles injury.
True,
He's nursing it. He should be back by next week.
Okay.
But I do trust in my team to pull it off slightly, but not by much. We held it against the Buccaneers, man. Y'all can say that until the end of the game. We were 20-24 with 7 minutes left in that game. No one expected us to score anything against them. We have a good off.
I believe in you.
But do you believe in the Raiders, AJ?
No, I did in the beginning of the season. Jeff and I talked about it a whole bunch. I was a believer, but that defense gives up a lot of points, for one. Two, they don't get turnovers, and they do not get pressure on the quarterback. Or they just don't hit pay dirt when they get in the backfield, because they are fifth from the bottom with 3.1% pressure sack rate, and the turnover percentage 4.9% of drives end in a turnover. For reference, the Cleveland Browns 18.7%, putting them second. I actually don't think this is very difficult. Of course, they'll prove me wrong. I think Derek Carr is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. I think that
Agreed.
guy is. I think that's Alex Smith. I think he'll be appreciated later on. But I'm going to go
completely
Browns.
agree.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm also going to go Browns in this one. I think that offense is really – I think – here's my Browns hot take. The Browns are a better offense with Odell Beckham Jr. not on the field.
Yeah.
The numbers back that up. Odell Beckham Jr. is a problem for that Browns offense. Jarvis Landry is a better player to begin with. And then Rashad Higgins on the other side is a beautiful compliment. They've still got Njoku on that team. They've still got a good running back in Kareem Hunt. They get the job done on the ground. When Baker Mayfield is kept clean, he is outstandingly accurate. He completed 22 straight balls to end that football game against the Bengals. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think the Browns are going to win this football game, and I think it's going to be by more than the line, which is very small. It's 2.5. So if Cleveland wins by a field goal, then they cover the spread as well. But I do think the Browns they come out and move to 6-2 on the season.
I like it.
Go.
I was really tempted to go Raiders, but AJ, when he started mentioning the lack of turnover rate and stuff, I did a little digging too. The Raiders have only 3 interceptions and no fumble recoveries through week 7, forcing a turnover on just 6% of their defensive snaps. That's troubling. And then another thing to think about is Baker has a perfect 4-0 record while completing 70.2% of his passes, 11 touchdowns, 2 picks, 8 yards an attempt, when he's playing teams under the 500 mark, which Raiders are 500, versus teams over 500, he's 1-2 with a 55.3 completion percentage, 4 touchdowns, 5 picks, 5.9 yards attempt. All that said, I like the way Ryan spelled it out. 22 straight completions to end the game. I mean, just slinging touchdowns like it was nobody's business. I too think the Browns are a better offense without Beckham. I think Baker gets forced. He gets kind of coerced into manufacturing targets for Beckham. It's like there's this pressure there, and I like the Browns to win this one.
Do you think that's true, Colt? Do you? And no research necessary here. Just off the dome. Do you think that is true, that they manufacture? Do you think he has enough pull in that locker room?
I kind of do. I mean, Beckham, he's been a diva most of his career. You know, I mean, uber talented player as well. But I think he may just.
He's a whiner. You can say it. He's a whiner.
He's a whiner, absolutely, and I think he just commands a little too much target volume from Baker. Therefore, Baker's like he's got this all game. He wants to keep his guy happy. Let me force these targets in here when probably not the best read on that play. I just think this may open things up a little bit more. He can breathe a touch easier. Stefanski, he's got the team in a really good spot this year, better than I've seen in many years. So I'm kind of a believer.
Yeah, I will tell you, I would not be surprised in the least if the Raiders win this game.
Me either. And I do think Derek Carr is a great quarterback. He's playing lights out this year. He really is. This is definitely a coin toss for me out of most games on the slate.
The Browns are one of those teams that have to prove they can do it more than 1 week in a row and against teams better than the Bengals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're a good football team, but they have to prove that they're a good football team. Yeah. Whereas, like, the Bears are 5-2, and they're officially a bad offense.
Yeah.
And like
Ryan,
the Browns. Go ahead.
What caliber of team would it take for Cleveland to beat for you to believe in them a little more? I'm curious.
I think it's more of a consistency thing.
Okay.
Because they can show up and look really good 1 week and then show up the next week and look like they've never seen a football in their entire lives. So I need it to be a consistency thing, and they don't necessarily have to win to show that consistency. They just can't show up like they did against the Steelers and be absolute trash.
Yeah.
You can lose a football game and still be a good football team.
Yeah.
When the Browns lose, they lose spectacularly.
Yeah, they fall from grace, man.
Yes. So I also wouldn't be surprised to see the Raiders win this football game. I'm looking to see the Browns play well, and I'm looking to see Baker back up that performance he had last week with another good week this week. Moving along, clash of the Titans and the Bengals. Also, they're also going to be playing in this game. Titans-Bengals in Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Bengals won 5-1, but they have proven themselves to be a worthy opponent. They've lost some close games in the Joe Burrow era. Colt, your thoughts?
I'm going Titans here. I think that there's a better team both sides of the ball. The Bengals just traded Dunlap to Seattle, which, I mean, is a good player for them. They still have Geno Atkins, a couple other names, but I think this is Tannehill's redemption after that, or Nate Gostkowski's redemption. I like Burrow. I think he's going to sling it a bunch this week. I'm talking maybe even like 400 yards, 3 TDs. I just think that the Titans will outscore them. They will get pummeled by Derrick Henry as well.
Yeah. Jeff?
I think Derrick Henry is going to make up for the performance he had on Sunday and not getting as much as he did. And it's going to be Titans all day long.
AJ?
I got to tell you, watching what I have watched of them, the Titans are one of my favorite teams in the league right
They're
now.
Fun.
They are so fun. That offense, I'm going to stick with my hot take. Drew Brees 2.0 equals Ryan Tannehill, and I'm going with that.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I absolutely love it. People are saying things about Steven Gostkowski, the kicker. They also don't take into account the fact that he is kicking on a surgically repaired hip. That's a difficult thing to do, and that's 47 yards is no chip shot to tie that football game in Tennessee. Gets a little breezy in Nashville, but that Titans team is still very good, and I do think they handle the Bengals. But the Bengals are showing that they are a competent football team. That franchise is building in the right direction. I'm excited to see where they go, just not this season. I think that they're a couple years away. Patriots and Bills, AFC East. Do the Bills right the ship on offense? Does Josh Allen find it? Do the Patriots find anything after they benched Cam Newton? Jeff.
I was reading something that Belichick says he's still going to have Cam as his starting quarterback, but I still don't think Cam's going to have a breakout performance or anything else like that. I think Bills are going to win that game.
Jeff, I already have you down for the Bills.
Yeah, that's kind of an automatic, right? I mean, is it picking against
as
the
a
Patriots?
Resident Patriot hater? Yeah, that was predictable. AJ, your thoughts on Patriots Bills?
I'll leave it at I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. Bills.
Colt?
Bills all day, man. I think the Bills defense, which isn't playing lights out or anything right now, I think the Bills defense could win this game with Tyler Bass kicking another 6 field goals. Patriots have a legit problem on offense, a systemic problem on offense, lack of talent on the perimeter. They've had 4 interceptions targeting wide receivers last week. On the season, they've recorded 1 touchdown and 8 interceptions on passes to their wide receivers. The guys just aren't getting open. Cam doesn't trust them. Cam looked bad. He looked like something's wrong with him last week. He looked downright demoralized.
He had the COVID.
He did. And that's what I'm wondering. Is there still some residual stuff going on from that? I don't know. I mean, he's a
COVID survivor.
He is a COVID survivor. Man, his passes were just ugly, and he looked downright demoralized. I don't know what it's going to take for the Patriots to find some kind of a rhythm on offense. I mean, 2 of the best minds in the game. I would hope they will be able to figure something out, even if that means Stidham isn't at QB or they mix up their running backs even more than they typically do. Hell, split James White out as a wideout. I mean, he may be one of the more trusted targets in the offense, but yeah, even if Allen has another, I don't think Josh Allen will have to do a lot in this game. I could be wrong, but I'm taking the Bills easy here.
FYI, that Patriots defense can still play some ball.
They can. However, they did just trade their arguably best defensive player, and Gilmore to the Saints today.
I love that.
This is the Bills' opportunity for the first time in 20 years to take a firm grasp of that division and run away with it, to move to 6-2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6-2 on the season, and to push the Patriots to 2-5. I think the Bills get the job done. The Patriots' backs are against the wall, but I don't think they have the personnel to turn things around right now. I'm going to pick the Bills as well. Last game on the slate, Thursday night, the matinee showing of football, if you will. Falcons-Panthers in Charlotte. Who we got? AJ.
I don't think I can safely pick the Falcons anymore. I don't think it was ever safe, but I continued to do it nonetheless and beat my head off that dirty bird. I'm going to go with the Panthers.
Jeff?
Panthers.
Colt?
I'm taking Panthers at home as well. Teddy Two
I'm gonna
Gloves
go-
playing clean football, man.
Love
Defense
that
is
name.
playing pretty well. Yeah.
I'm also going to go Panthers, but I think the Falcons are going to have like a 14-point lead with 2.5 minutes left and find a way to lose.
Cold take.
gonna be-
Very cold take.
It's going to be
That is kind of
That's
a
icy.
cold water.
It's going to be spectacular. All right, AJ, have you recorded our picks to the log?
Recorded. Log.
Gentlemen, it's now time to consult the crystal ball, stare deep into the fiery abyss of the Oracle's brain, and talk to Colt about fantasy football.
Let's do it, guys.
What are
What do
our-
you got?
What are our biggest thoughts going into this week? I'll start this week. I don't have any thoughts. My team's pretty good. I just need a kicker.
Kicker questions. I was in the same boat. I was successfully streamed Zane Gonzalez last week. That paid off, but he's on a bye this week. Let's look at what are you thinking, Ryan? Let's see.
Do you think I can sucker somebody into a trade for Justin Tucker?
I don't even know if it's worth it. I honestly don't. And I don't really like the matchup for him against Pittsburgh this week either. Man, I'm going to say Joey Sly. That's who I had my finger on this morning. On the button, that is. It was either him or
thought about
Suckup.
Joey Sly.
Yeah, it was either him or Ryan Suckup. For me, I went with Suckup based on the fact that Bucks will probably shellac the Giants, and they'll be happy settling for field goals in the second half. Also, to hopefully offset some of AJ's Buccaneers defense scoring going on Monday night too. I think Sly's a pretty safe pick. He's had, I mean, almost every game he's had has been at least 9+ points, except for, I believe, 2. He missed a 65-yarder, I believe it was last week, by a couple of inches to tie the game. So he's got a leg. I like the game script for tomorrow night. I think Sly is a safe play.
I like safe.
Yeah.
Jeff, your fantasy football quandaries and burdens.
Do I start Tom Brady over Lamar Jackson?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think we touched on this a little bit via message on Sunday as Jeff was prodding me for trading the amazing Tyler Lockett on his hat trick. Oh, ouch. I got to tell him myself sometimes. But I'm honestly, I would go Brady here. Now, in my mind, the thought is kind of how much will Brady have to do Monday night to beat the Giants? I also think Arians just doesn't care. He's just going to put the foot on the gas, no mercy. And I think I'd go Brady over Lamar. Yeah, Lamar is
I
not.
love Bruce Arians.
Yeah, he's pretty rad. I would definitely go Brady over Lamar.
AJ, I know your fantasy football lineup in our league has caused you some grief and turmoil. Many trips to the snack bar.
I have an all-star team sitting on my bench. For the listeners, last week, my bench made a team of Russell Wilson, Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, Michael Thomas, Will Fuller. Actually, not Will Fuller, Adam Thielen, and Raheem Mostert. That was my bench.
And Aaron Jones, because he was inactive.
Yes, and Aaron Jones. That was my bench. This week, let's put that aside. This week, what are the odds that Michael Thomas and Aaron Jones play? And then if Thomas doesn't play, who is on the waiver wire that's better than Juju Smith-Schuster and T.Y. Hilton at wide receiver?
Good question, and I gotta say this hits pretty close to home here, man. We're head to head this week, and we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. I don't feel too good about Michael Thomas. I don't I think most of it is behavioral stuff. Ever since that punching the teammate in practice incident, Peyton benched him the following week. Now he has a grade 1 hamstring strain, which they were saying early last week that could jeopardize his week 8 availability in Chicago. I think he's just really in the doghouse. Peyton has come out and said publicly they're not open to trading Michael Thomas. I don't know what it's going to take to get back in the good graces. I'd be surprised if he plays this week with the hamstring as is. Aaron Jones, that's a toss-up. And for my team's sake, I hope he doesn't because I have his backup. I think the same thing they did with Devontae Adams. He was ready to go the next week after his hamstring strain, and they didn't let him play. And I think they may handle Aaron Jones in the same regard because he's too valuable down the stretch, and they don't need him to beat the Vikings. Now, looking at the waiver wire, you're looking for a receiver.
So it's between Juju Smith-Schuster, T.Y. Hilton, and anyone you can find or recommend on the waiver.
Godwin's out at Tampa Bay, by the way. He had surgery on a fractured finger. So Scotty Miller.
I'm never playing Scotty Miller again. He put up a goose egg for me one week. And
I know. And he went for he went for 109 and a touch last week, but he could just as easily give you 1.2 this week. That's really tough, man. I almost keep checking on Deontay's status. He seems to get dinged up pretty good every single game. At least he made it through that last game. But I think Juju's won back some rhythm and favor in the offense. I don't know if I'd start anyone else over Juju that's on waivers right now. I snagged Ayuk earlier today, partially in fear that you would grab him as well and beat the pants off of me with him. And the fact that I've got Debo on IR. I don't know. I think I'd probably just roll Juju, and that's an unbiased opinion. I don't know if I trust.
I certainly believe that part.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust Hilton. I mean, he just. I don't know. He hit 69 yards week 5 against Cleveland.
Nice.
6 for 69. Yeah, man. And then followed that up with a in a barn burner of an offensive contest against the Bengals, 1 catch for 11 yards. Now, I do know that he had many more targets outside of that. They just couldn't connect, or they were slightly out of reach. I don't know what's going on with T.Y. Hilton. Maybe he's just beginning his descent as more of a role player.
Juju Smith-Schuster is questionable.
He is. What's going on with Juju? His knee. That's been kind of a nagging knee thing for him. I wouldn't read too much into it. What was his stat line last week, by the way? 9 for 85. That's pretty respectable.
14 targets.
Wow. Yeah. Baltimore defense, we all know, very tough. But I think Ben may even lean on Juju a little more, wanting to get the ball out quick. The pressure that the Ravens are going to put on him. Yeah, we both have some tough lineup decisions this week.
I'll roll with Juju. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, we are both 2-5, and I think our teams are both better than our record indicates.
Colt, what is your question? Ask the morons.
My question. I'm thinking of like is there a defense that you guys think can hang rest of the season out there on the wire? I'm rolling Rams right now. I'm rolling them this week against Tua. Then they have a bye. After that, it's Seattle, Tampa Bay, San Francisco, Arizona. I don't really like any of those matchups for defense.
The Titans.
You think?
Titans defense, they create some turnovers.
Okay. That's a good choice. I was looking at that earlier today. Yeah, they've got Cincinnati this week, and then Chicago and Indy at home week 9, week 10. I like that. And Vrabel's he's pretty defensive minded.
He dials it up.
Yeah. There's 3 picks.
I like a stash pick of the Cardinals.
Oh, yes. You know, I shouldn't have even brought that up because I was thinking the same thing earlier today. now it's out there.
I'm not gonna take it. I'm not gonna.
Now it's out there because when I picked up Ayuk, I was looking ahead. Cardinals, Miami, week 9 at home. I like that. I that's a good pick, AJ. I certainly was looking at the same. Breaking news: Dallas is not willing to trade Michael Gallup. Just got the notification. FYI.
Is that
Neither
our
is
first
any
breaking
fantasy owner.
news?
What's that?
Is that our first breaking news?
It was. It just the banner popped up on my phone and I just belted it out. So yeah.
Oh,
Breaking
let's give
news.
a shout out to phones real quick.
Yep. Technology. How does the Chargers sound to you guys the rest of the season? Is that somebody you think you could just kind of set it and forget it?
Yeah, I'm not gonna ride or die. Yeah, you could sit and forget the Chargers for sure.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. That's the one weak spot I feel like I have in my roster right now. Is I knew I was going to be good with the Rams for a couple weeks, and then beyond after the bye though, I don't know if I'll hold them through the bye. Schedule's not very favorable. 3 games thereafter.
If you can stomach it, the Giants are ranked 10th in points.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they get a little pressure. Didn't you say, AJ?
Also, they play a terrible schedule.
Yeah. Well, week 9, Washington. It's not the worst.
No, terrible in the opposite direction. The schedule is garbage. They play garbage teams. They play in the worst division of football, which is a big plus for you.
Exactly. That's the analysis I'm looking for.
Boys, we have once again pressed the limits of our time. I do believe we have spewed nonsense for long enough.
A personal attack on the timekeeper.
No, that's on all of us. Either way, we have spewed our nonsense for long enough on this episode of Shall We Football. We need to go to bed.
All right, I'll see you guys in the
thoughts.
Ring. It's 11:56. I stopped having thoughts about 26 minutes ago. Ryan, when the question is, shall we football, what's the answer?
I believe the answer is always yes.
Mm-hmm. Good night.